Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I am Connor Williams, and we're back with another one of our match preview videos. We do this, as much as we can before the games are out. Today, I'm here for the Chelsea-Everton preview. I'm sure many of you have got such high hopes and sort of expectations for the game. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a tough one. Don't forget to let me know your score predictions in the chat below. I'm interested to see what you guys think. I personally am going to stick with 3-0 defeat. I think if Lukaku's fit, I think he'll play and he'll have an absolute stormer against us, just because he's been struggling a little bit. And Josh King's already bagged a few past us. Players tend to score against their former clubs, and it's written in the stars. But yeah, don't forget to, give me your thoughts and score predictions and all that good stuff. I'm interested to know. We'll obviously have the AFC Lukey. Evening, mate. I am good, thank you very much. I hope you're well as well. I have got the team news as well. Not now, obviously, but when that comes out, I will have that for you as well. And we'll, break down the team. It's interesting to see who he's going to play today because, there's not many players about, is there? If you go on FootMob and you look at the probable lineup, it's got us at a 4-3-3. Delph at left back, Keane, Holgate, Godfrey at right back, Pickford, Gomez, Allen, who should be back tonight, Decore, Gordon, Rondon, and Gray. I don't think that's miles away. He might go for the 4-4-1-1. Or he might stick with it with a 4-3-3. I can see him going for the 4-4-1-1. I don't know if he's going to play Delph left back. I have this sneaky feeling. There's reports that we might see Branthwaite tonight, which would be interesting. If that's the case, maybe he's going to play Godfrey at left back, Holgate at right back. Other than that, I have this sneaky suspicion we'll see John Joe Kenny in the side tonight. Gordon and Gray, I think, Gray's going to play. He's one of the names on the sheet that'll be on there. As much as Pickford is, he'll be on there most games because he's our best player this season. And Rondon, I think, will be playing because, it's Rondon, in it, and Richarlison's out. So we're a bit thin on the ground in terms of strikers. We've got Genk Tosin, who wants to play for his contract, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see how well that goes. I think he's going to end up just leaving on a free in the summer. Obviously, we've got a couple of injuries, and Chelsea have reported they got a couple of injuries. Chilwell's out for them. Kovacic is meant to be out. Timo Werner is out with COVID, supposedly. For us, as far as I'm aware, we've been quite lucky. We've not had a COVID outbreak at Everton, but I say we're quite lucky. But we have got Yerry Mina obviously out with a calf injury. Tom Davis is still out. Seamus Coleman got re-injured. Richarlison's got re-injured. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is still out, and Townsend got re-injured. This website, FootMob, reckons Richarlison won't be back till early January. Don't know how true that is. I think it's always hard to depend on, predict the player's injury recovery time. But I will say this, it's going to be a very bleak December. And it's going to be a very bleak early January. I can't see us having a proper team till February. And Rafa Benitez does keep saying that we'll have a good second half of the season. He will be really praying that he can have one because otherwise, the form we're currently on, it's not good, is it? It's worse than relegation. 2 wins in 2 months is like Norwich levels when people were worried about Norwich. So we'll wait and see. But yeah, don't forget to let me know your score predictions tonight. I'm interested to see what you guys think. I'm being quite the realist, and some of you will say the negative. And I'm going to say a 3-0 win for Chelsea. I think Lukaku's going to have a stormer. He'll get about 2. And I reckon Mason Mount's going to get 1 or something like that. So I think it's going to be a tough game. Looking at some of your comments here, though, we've got Wormy. How are you doing, Wormy? Nice to see you again. Everton Rose, who says she's not looking forward to this, and I don't blame you. I think it's going to be a really horrible game. It's going to be a tough one to sit through and watch. Luckily, I say unluckily, I don't have plans tonight, so I'll be watching the game. It's going to be a tough one to watch. Chelsea are very good. I don't think they're the type of team that will goal glut you like Liverpool will or City, but they're very well structured, and they're good at just holding on. I think we're going to struggle to create anything, and you're guaranteed that we'll give away a goal. So I think that's what it's going to come down to, is individual mistakes from us, and they're just going to be so hard to break down. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a really tough game for Benitez, and they don't get any easier. They really don't, because he's got Leicester. We've got Leicester coming up. That'll be a tough game. I think the Boxing Day one is Burnley. Again, you'd hope we'd beat Burnley in the least offensive way to Burnley. You'd expect us to sort of beat them, but I mean, and you sort of expected us to beat Crystal Palace, and then after that we've got Newcastle, which Brighton, who've gone off the boil slightly since their really good start to the season. They're only 2 points ahead of us now. So the games do get easier. I just don't know whether, well, on paper they get easier. Obviously, football's not played on paper, so we'll have to wait and see. That's such a cliche, but yeah, for his job though, I think January is an important month for him. There's Norwich, there's Villa as well. Gerrard will be up for that. Newcastle in early February. If he doesn't pick up a lot of points from these games, I think that'll be his nail in the coffin. I thought he was going to be gone by Christmas. I think Fad Majeri's digging his heels in with him. But if he doesn't win and boost, if we don't move up that table pronto, come February, come 9th of February, I think he'll be sacked. If we're still below below or around about 12th, I think they'll sack him. If the table's still that close, if there's a massive gap between us and like 14th, I don't think they will. But if it's as close as the table is now back in then, I think we'll probably end up getting rid, just because it's not worked. And it won't work for the foreseeable, I don't think. We do a couple more. Aidan Johns put, we're going to get pumped tonight. And yeah. That's sort of the mindset I think the majority of us are in. Ian Clark's done a little 1-0 for us because it's 25-1. Wouldn't be surprised with 4-5-0 defeat though. 25-1's good odds. It's worth a little punt. Like you said, I can't see it happening and be surprised if we're not thumped. But when the odds are that good, you know what I mean, it's worth a little bit of a flutter. Aidan Johns put 3-3 Rondon hat trick. Now there'll be some money on that as a bet. I bet that's some money, like 100-1, silly odds or something. Rob's put, evening Connor. Like I previously said, I'm not going to be watching any more games until Rafa goes. We'll be on my PlayStation instead. I don't blame you, mate. I will watch it. I'll try and give it the full game, in all honesty. But I mean, if we're getting absolutely battered, I just don't think I have the energy. I'll probably keep it on, but I'll probably do the same thing and just play on my PlayStation with it on the background. Unless it gets to, silly numbers like 5, and then I'm just going to have to turn it off, because it's only so much you can put somebody through before they decide to go nah. Come on, you Blues has put, Chelsea is not playing well in defence recently. However, we're toothless without those regulars. No youngsters, no surprise. God bless our team today. Yeah, I'm interested to see. I think we tweeted out that there's a chance Bramthwaite will play, which could be interesting. It'd be a really good opportunity to put him on the shop window for a loan move, because I think he needs to go out on loan. He's not going to get game time at Everton currently, so the next best thing for him to do is go back out to a championship club. He was obviously at Rovers last season. A couple of my friends who support Rovers said he was hit and miss. But to be fair, Anthony Gordon has been out on loans in the championship, and again had been hit and miss when he was at Preston. So take into that what you will, but I think he needs a move, Bramthwaite. I think he needs a loan move to sort him out, mature him a little bit. Irwin's put, wish Benitez would just leave. That is a feeling that I echo. That's a feeling I think a majority of people are echoing. I can't see him doing it though, mate. I think we've sort of made the bed now. Now we've got to lie in it. And also, personally, I think it might be a bit of an ego thing. He was never wanted. He was brought in by Majeri, and the last thing you want to do is admit you're wrong and throw that manager out. But it's tough. It's really tough. Like I said, the Chelsea are missing some players. I say some. They're missing Timo Werner, so they'll probably play Hudson-Odoi potentially on the left of Lukaku. who's still a very good player, really good. So, that's the problem when you come up against teams like this. They're missing Kovacic, that are going to play Loftus-Cheek there. They're just teams like this. You can have it 1 or 2 out, and it's nothing to them because their depth's that good, or just the quality of their squad's that good. Chelsea, even if they're missing, Werner will still do well against us. In case we do win today, if anyone's wondering, though, that would put us on 21 points, which would take us up to 11th. We'd go above Palace. We'd also go above Brentford and Brighton, who also have a game in hand. It essentially it pushed us a little bit further up into the spots of 11, where I think we'll probably end up finishing between 10th and 12th at the end of the season, just because the top places are just they're gonna reach slowly out of our reach. We're 7 point. No, my maths isn't so good. We're 9 points off. We're only 9 points off. 10 points off 5th though. So if you think about it like that, it's not too bad. But it's where I think we're going to pick up points. We'll need a really good second half of the season, or a good cup run would be nice. Obviously, we've got Hull, so we'll have to wait and see. We've also got the news today that was breaking. While we wait for the team news, might as well do the just general news. The rumours. We have the news that we're meant to be looking at a new left back. We're looking. Dynamo Kiev's manager has hinted that left back Vitaly Mykolenko, I'm going to pronounce that as, has left for Everton in a deal that would cost 20 million euros. That's come from Telecom Sports. I mean, if the manager's saying it, and I've seen the quotes, he's gone, he's done. Then, pretty much highlights that he's gone. I don't know an awful lot about the lad. That is a serious sort of. I don't watch the Ukrainian league, surprisingly. I do know that he was good. He's good on Football Manager and has been for the last couple of versions of that game. Again, I know that's not a proper sort of recommendation. So take that with a pinch of salt, because although the game is good, they do sometimes get it wrong. So you can't base all of your Premier League your signings off that, but he's good on that. He's a wing back, can play left mid as well. We also have the news today that Benitez is monitoring Longstaff because his contract's up at the end of the summer. In the summer, that one realistically I can see happening. He's obsessed with the Longstaff brothers, and I can see that happening if he's still here. I mean, in the summer is a long time away for him. I hope he's not here in the summer, but you never know. You never know. I didn't think he'd last this long at us, and here he is. So, yeah. But let us know. Let us know if you've heard of the left back, if you rate him, if you've watched, if any of you are Ukrainian fanatics, Ukrainian Football League fanatics, or Ukrainian yourself. Let us know if you've heard of him and what you think of that. It does beg the question, though, because obviously he's going to cost us 20 million. There is the question of where the money's coming from, and I have this horrible feeling we're going to see Luka Digne go out permanently, obviously not on loan. I do think we could see Luka Digne leave the club in January to be replaced by this lad. He is only 22, I was reading before as well, so he has got youth on his side, but I mean, I might be biased because I came on the other day and said it, but I really like Luka Digne, and I think getting rid of him is a really silly idea. His defensive stats were shown as well the other day, and he's actually got really good defensive stats, as well as obviously the contribution going forward, but his defensive stats aren't that bad. He was up there in the top couple of the league I think it was for successful tackles. So, yeah, but realistically, I think that's Luka Digne on his way out of Everton, which will be a shame, but it's what it is. What it is. It's not the first name that the managers sort of fell out with that's left, and it's not going to be the last one, I don't think, from the rumours. It'll be good to see Alan back tonight, though. Hopefully. Supposedly they fell out, and there was one rumour that he fell out, one rumour that they're injured. I hope he's just, it was a knock in his back, because we don't need to be falling out with everyone at the club, especially not if we're getting rid of Alan and replacing him with Longstaff. Looking back at a couple more of your comments, Eugene McGee has put some of the Chelsea players have COVID. I think Everton will beat Chelsea 4-1. That's a really big prediction. I think Werner has. I don't know if anyone else has, names wise. But still a good squad, even if they're missing one or two. 4-4-1's incredibly optimistic when you've got Solomon Rondon up front. Ian Clark's, but great to see the dock completely filled in now. Yeah, that is good news. I think that is our only. I think that's the only thing, isn't it, holding everyone at the minute on is sort of that the stadium's coming and it's coming along nicely. So I think the stadium is sort of the not get out of jail card, but it's a very good positive thing to look at. Wormy's put if we got 11 players. Supposedly, he'll probably makeshift them, won't he? Fabian Delph will be chucked in somewhere. He's got 11 players. I just don't know if they're any good. His also put was brilliant. Everton sign a left back position that wasn't a problem, but a right back by any chance. Yeah, I mean the right back one has been screamed for a while. Will we ever see a right back come to Everton? I don't think so. We're supposedly after Trippier, but so are United, and I just don't see Trippier leaving Atletico for us. And he's going to come on big wages, and he's going to go United, really, if United chuck their offer in. He's not going to pick us over United in a million years, so I don't think that'll happen. Irwin's put Benitez once. Yeah, he does want Longstaff. Wormy's put, what happened to Sakaria links? I was a little bit happy for a second. Yeah, I don't know where the Sakaria links went either. I know we were rumoured with him for quite a bit, but I don't know. He'd have been a really good midfielder to have. I quite like him. He'd be a very good Allen replacement as well. I really do like that. But I don't know. I don't see that happening, unfortunately, because that would take really good, acumen transfer wise from Everton, and that's just not how we do our business. So Mark Burton's put not even Omricon. Sorry, I can't pronounce the new variant. Omricon, I'm going to say, can save us tonight. No, it can't, mate. Not even COVID could save this game. It's mental. Eugene's put some of the player managers want the Premier League to be cancelled because of COVID. Yeah, I've heard or a break. A couple of wanting, a winter break type thing, sort of thing. There's a couple of ways that they're on about, aren't they? Behind closed doors is being rumored, but I don't know if that works because it's only the players that are, that are coming out. And the last time I checked, the players aren't in the crowd with the fans, so like behind closed doors, I don't think would fix the problem really. I could see them doing the break. I could see them doing a break till, but then again, the logistics of a break would cause mayhem because everything's got to be pushed back. They did it. They've done it before though, so it just means that players will be playing a lot of football later on in the year type thing, and the season will end a little bit later and all that sort of stuff. I can't see them cancelling it just because it'll cost broadcasters, it'll cost them money. Premier League, it'll cost them money. The clubs, it'll cost them. I can't see them just scrapping the league because that will cost loads and loads of money. It's just I can't see them doing that. Wormy's put, isn't it ironic? We've got 10,000 left when all I need is a right. Yeah, it's mental that the right back position is not being talked about, fixed, sort of thing. I don't know why it's not getting talked about, but it's Everton for you, isn't it? I don't think we'll ever get a right back at this rate. I think we're going to be playing Seamus Coleman forever, and that's the way it's going to be. I've just seen Sky have sort of said that the Everton Leicester game is going to be postponed. Obviously, Leicester have a couple of players out. I think their game tonight has been postponed. Yeah, Leicester Tottenham tonight has been postponed. So I'm not surprised that one's been postponed again. I will say this though, at least we sort of at least the fans know before they turn up to the ground this time. Obviously, Watford went all the way to Burnley, and that got that got cancelled very late on, and that was completely inconvenient for the fans who travelled all that way. But yeah, the Everton Leicester game, I've just seen that it's been postponed. I guess that sort of saves us a little bit. That's one more, and that means our next game is Burnley. So you'd hope we would beat Burnley. Joe I11's put Roberto Mykolenko. Yeah, from what I've seen of it, it's like I said, I've not seen enough about him to judge him, but he's young. He's young. It's better than buying some 40-year-old left back or 33-year-old left back. It could be worse. We could be sort of trying to bid for left backs that were playing, when I was like 6. So in that way, it's kind of good. Hopefully, we should have the team news now. Hopefully. I'll refresh the Everton Twitter page and a little bit of hope that it's out. It is out. Before I'll read the rest of your comments in a bit, but the lineup. Oh, the lineup is Pickford, John Joe Kenny. I did say I think we'll see John Joe Kenny. I just had that feeling. Godfrey, Holgate, Keane, and Branthwaite. So he's going 5 at the back, and I assume Godfrey will be the left back in that. Iwobi, Andre Gomez, Decore, Gordon, and Ellis Sims up front. Rondon must still be injured. The bench is Begovic, Lonergan, Coleman, Allen, Jabamin, Onyango, and Dobbin. Oh, that's a tough bench, isn't it? I mean, if Allen's still got a knock, I understand it, but if not, Allen needs to be in there. Decore and Andre Gomez are going to get ripped apart as a 2. Even with the 5 behind them, that they're going to get. Andre Gomez is better in a 3 where he's got that added security, and Decore, bless him, can't do it all alone. And it means also Decore then can't go forward as much, which is obviously tough. We knew it was going to be bad because of the injuries, but God, is that bad. It'd be nice to see Ellis Sims play. I'm looking at positives here. It'd be nice to see Sims and Branthwaite. Everton have missed a trick because they've got Branthwaite in the graphic, and they should have just put Sims in because people have been calling for Sims for the last couple of weeks. But yeah, the lineup is what it is, isn't it? It's a tough lineup. It's not filled me with much hope, but I'm glad to see Sims getting a game. Dobbin will probably get a game. I think we'll see Allen. I mean, we've got Allen and Shabamin on the bench. One of them must be fit enough to play. Just play another defensive midfielder in with Decore. And it doesn't help the rumours that he's fell out with Allen either. I don't know. I don't want to read too much into a lineup, but if he's fell out with Allen and Digne, then the fella just needs to be gone quickly, just very quickly. But we'll get back to some of your comments because obviously I've read out the lineup now, and the lineup was quite interesting. It's certainly not the some of it was predictable. John Joe Kenny, I think, was predictable, but Ellis Sims has shocked me. I thought Rondon was fit. Joshua Early's put, if the campaign gets null and voided, that'd save Benitez. Yeah, I think that as well, mate. I think if we did null and void the season, Benitez would be safe. And then he'd get the summer and the rest of the year. I can't see them null and void. I hope not, because it'll be a very long. That means no football now for near, a couple of months off a year, 10 months or something. That'd be really that'd be quite. Even if it's Everton under Benitez, no football for that long is going to be tough. Moss has put, all right, lad, nice tash. Cheers, mate. Cheers, as I appreciate you noticed. Wormy's put, are they selling Digne to fix financial fair play and buy players? I don't know, mate. Supposedly, I think it's the fallout of him and Benitez more than anything. But I think they're going to sell him and then buy a left back to replace him, which would make me think that they're doing it purely to just, to get rid of a player he doesn't like and get in a player he does. Because I have a feeling we will sell Digne for about 20 million, which I know some of you will be like, that's incredibly cheap. But if a manager doesn't want him, then he'll be gone. And the Athletic ran a bit about Alonso and his time with Benitez, and Alonso's wife went into labour, and Benitez, they fell out over it, and Benitez cut price sold him just to get him out of the club. So don't be surprised if Digne ends up going on an incredibly cheap deal because Benitez's reputation's for perceiving him here. Aidan Johns put the 2 players Benitez has signed for us have been arguably our best players this season, but getting rid of Digne is a big, big mistake. Yeah, I mean, Damari Gray's been fantastic. That's a good little buy from him. Rondon's been absolutely a stinker, but I'm assuming the other player is Andros Townsend that you're on about. And Townsend has played well as well. He's been in his goal contributions or chances created is very high. He's in the top 10. Which is good, but he will go off the boil because he's 30 odd, and you can't expect him to do that all week, week in, week out. I said this when we signed Townsend. I think it's a really clever signing as a backup. Probably not a clever signing for your out and out right winger all season, but he's not had a bad start. I'm not going to rip the fella, but I'd have liked us to get another right winger in the summer. Gavin's put if Kenny, Holgate, or Keane or Coleman start, will get hammered. Well, unfortunately, mate, I think 3 of them, 3 of them are playing tonight. Seamus Coleman's on the bench, so he'll probably make an appearance later on as well if John Joe Kenny has a stinker. Erwin's put I hate Benitez. Yeah, that's a feeling that I can sort of get on board with. Moz is not looking forward to tonight. Still going to watch though. Roll on New Year in the window. Yeah, hopefully the window's good. I can't be bothered with a window where we can't spend again because we really do need to get in a lot of players. I don't want us to spend big on one player. I just want depth and good depth. We need to have a bit of a, spread it about, get as many good players as we can for the money. Eugene's put Jim White was chatting about Rafa Benitez on TalkSport today. I didn't see all. I don't listen to TalkSport, but I saw the clip of Simon Jordan, who every time I see TalkSport comes up a lot on my Twitter feed, and every time I see Simon Jordan, I'm always impressed with him. He's a very good pundit. Him and Jim White are very much chalk and cheese, but I saw him talking about Wayne Rooney, and I have to agree with Simon Jordan. Rooney is finding his feet at Derby, but he's not ready for the job that is Everton. It's a big job, like Jordan said, and he's not there yet. He might be in the future, but in my opinion, is Wayne Rooney's not there yet. This is a club that had Ancelotti last year. And although that was a coup, that still we need some steady hands with experience that isn't Rafa Benitez, in my opinion. Domingo thought the lineup was somebody taking the mick for a second. Then I had to double check. It was on the official account. Yeah, I must admit when I saw it, then I was like, have I looked at like some sort of weird FA Cup or League Cup lineup that we put out like 2 years ago? Because I was a bit like, there's no way that's the lineup. But yeah. I mean, Ellis Sims, I feel a bit for him because we've all wanted to see him. We've all asked to chuck Sims on instead of Rondon. But sticking him on against Chelsea, he's got no choice. But against Chelsea, he's not going to be the best debut for the poor lad. I do really feel sorry for him there. But you never know. And apparently, he's quite I've not seen much of him play, but his goal record at our under-23s wasn't good. I've got Blackpool friends who are fans of Blackpool, and they really liked him. And Blackpool want him back supposedly. So I'm excited to see him play, but I would say curb the don't expect massive things from him. He's not gonna you've got to be patient with young lads, and this is a very tough game to be sticking young lads in. Fast finisher put you're bad when Kenny puts on anything other than a bib. Yeah, I had a feeling, mate. The left back spot was tough, the right back spot was tough. I was like, he's gonna have to play John Joe Kenny. Or he could have played Holgate there, but the centre-back position is still quite tough as well. We have genuinely put out a league cup sort of squad that you'd put, when you're facing like a League Two team in the cups. So it'll be a really interesting one. Moss has put, "Oh, Mother Hubbard squad, what did you expect?" It was always going to be a bit bleak. Our injuries are silly. I don't get it, but they're getting beyond the joke now. Sims is going to get it if he misses an open goal or doesn't score. Our fans are a bit too toxic. I hope not, mate. I hope after all the fans wanting to see him again, we will sort of be patient with him. He's not going to come in the game today. It's a tough game. He's not going to score a hat trick, guys. Realistically, I mean, he might do now. I've said that, but realistically, he's not. As long as he puts in a shift and he moves and he gets in the right places, even if he doesn't score, I'll be fine with that. As long as he moves more than Rondon does, I'm not bothered, because that's all I'm seeing today. As if he impresses, and we're going, he moves a lot better, then surely that puts us in a position where he's got to play the next couple of games, or he will get more game time off the bench type thing. Because he was, it's his moment. He doesn't have to score, but he can really impress us with his movement, his build up play, his hold up play. Because we missed that as well. As much as Rondon is a big lad and he is quite strong, his hold up play, he doesn't impress me. He gives away way too many free kicks. Where he's put 40 or 50 million for Digne, I can't see us. That's what I would expect, but I can see us letting it go for a lot cheaper. 500 million, and that's a starting lineup from Gavin. Yeah, I agree, mate. It's a joke, isn't it? The money we've spent, and that's the lineup we're putting out against Chelsea. Eugene's put. Did you hear Jim White was chatting about the big? No, I didn't see them talk about Dunk either. I saw them talk about Rooney, but I only saw the clip on Twitter. Like I said, I don't listen to the radio much, to be honest. But that, from what I've seen, I quite like Simon Jordan. He talks a lot of sense. Jim White, I'm a bit like that sort of thing. But Simon Jordan, he's very honest. He's very brutally honest as well, which I quite like. It's quite refreshing to see. Gavin's put, I can see 7-0. Why is Kenny playing? The right back situation's that tough. It's that tough, mate. It's that bleak. And we're after left backs. Wormy's put, he's 28 now. He's 28 now, so if we can get anything more than 40, I might sell him. Yeah, I mean, 40 million I'd take for Digne if he's gonna. I'd rather keep him, but if he's gonna have to go, that's what I'd want. But mark my words, mate, we will let him go for less than that, because he's not liked by the manager, and the manager's got a past for doing stuff like this. So. Poor user put wow, Sims and Branthwaite, at least he's giving them a chance. Yeah, it's a tough game to be giving youth a chance in, but I mean, his arm's tied, isn't it, realistically? Because his health, his medical expert, his assistant, his fitness coach, I don't know what drills he's got him doing in training. Maybe he's got him doing boxing, or maybe he's just getting them to two-foot each other all the time. But it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a really tough game for them. Bob's put, hope we lose, so 10-0, so he's out before Christmas. I think we'll keep him regardless of tonight's score. And the fact that Leicester's been cancelled now backs it up. The Leicester game, if he'd lost that, maybe I'd have been like, yeah. But the fact that Leicester's been postponed saves him as well for me. I can see that. And depending on what they do with the rest of the season, I think Kirby might save him his job. James Lebeck's put anytime there's no sight of Rondon, it's a win. Yeah, I'm excited. I think Rondon's still injured, surely, because he'd have picked Rondon if he was fully fit. 2 feet orifice has put no defensive mid in that lineup. Christ, that's what I've been saying. I said that. Allen and Shabamin on the bench, no defensive midfielder in the starting 11. Andre Gomez partnered up with Decore. That midfield's going to get absolutely ripped apart. That midfield is going to be non-existent. I like Decore, but the man can only do so much. And Andre Gomez isn't somebody that should be in a 2 centre mid partnership. With a 3, he's got the added protection. Not a 2. Not a 2 at all. Wormy's put that Rondon's injured. I think that is the case, isn't it? Otherwise, he'd definitely be playing. Josh has put that Sims isn't Premier League standard. Under 23s is different level. Yeah, of course. It's way different, which is why I'm hoping he does go back to Blackpool on loan. Because I think that's what he needs, some first team experience at a proper competition. He was scoring for too much fun in the youth level. Anytime you come out with numbers like that, as good as it is, it's probably too easy for you. Faz has watched a lot of Sims this year, and he is lazy. Rudiger and Co will have the easiest shifts ever. Oh, it's disappointing, but it's surprisingly not the first time I've heard someone say that. I heard someone say Dobbin is the more the more athletic, the one who moves more. Basically, I don't know what's more mobile. He's the more mobile of the two. And people, I've seen a couple of people tweet going, I don't know what the big thing with Sims is when Dobbin looks the better player. I don't know. I don't know. This will be like probably the first time I've seen him play a game, so I'm going to hold my judgment. And I'll probably hold my judgment after this as well because it's Chelsea. It's a tough game. But I will say this: the numbers he was getting are impressive, especially if it's a lad that doesn't move. Mitchell Belton's put, if we got 40 mil for Digne, does that mean we could spend 80? I've got no idea how the logistics of it work, mate. I've got no idea, unfortunately. Hopefully, but the logistics of financial fair. I have a rough idea. I've watched the TIFO video on it, and basically you've got to balance your books in 3 years. But I don't know if it means sort of like that, where if you get rid of 20, can you take out 40? I'm not too sure. I just know that you've got to try and balance the books or keep it under a certain amount, and then they wipe it after 3 years or something. As good as TIFO were, the video about it was equally as confusing. I just think it's a really a strange concept to understand. I know Gary Neville's really against it as well, and thinks there's better ways to sort of moderate football. So it's weird. I can't understand it. And looking at the way we're ran, like looking at the people at the top at Everton, I think me and Mishiri have both that in common. We both don't know how financial fair play works. Paul Users put, I'd just love us to give it a go. That's that. I don't want to see like 5 minutes in, our heads dropping and Chelsea walking around with the ball. That will really infuriate me. That will make me turn it off before a goal goes in if I'm watching 11 lads walking around, not giving a care in the world. Especially when fans have travelled down there as well. And London's not a cheap place to go. It's not a close place to go either. If you live up here in the northwest, it's if they turn around and just half bother it, I'll be really upset. I'll be turning off. I hate it when heads go early on, and we've seen it too many times. Those type of games. Mozzspot, I think it's 3 times the transfer fee, including wages. Oh, okay. So if we sold him for 20, we'd get to So we get to spend 60 million, or depending on his wages as well. So maybe 80 is a rough one, actually. That's probably a rough, accurate guess. 80 million wouldn't be awful to spend in the window, depending on what you spend it on. Wormy's put hard to say. Mitch depends on the deals and the amortization. I imagine. I'm not going to pretend to know. I've just said I don't know how it works, and I really don't. So I'm not going to, billy my way through it pretending to know. But yeah, if that was the case that we could spend 80 million, that would be. I don't think it's worth getting rid of Digne for, because there's players in the squad that could go a lot sooner than he does. But 80 million, that would be, we could buy a couple of players. If we brought the left back for 20 million that we're linked with today, we'd probably be able to offer Longstaff a contract and get him in on a really cheap deal. Again, not what someone I want, but just thinking about it. But we'll have to wait and see if he does go in. Maybe he'll find his way back in. Like I said, his defensive stats this season have been actually really good as well. He just wants to play a little bit more. It upsets me. If he was playing naff and he was playing rubbish, I'd be above it. But I don't think he is playing rubbish. He's not being as creative, but that's where the argument stems from. But his defensive job work is good, and that's what he's been asked to do. So it will annoy me to see him go if it's just because he's been pushed out because he's fell out with someone. That'll really upset me. But I have to wait and see what happens there. And like Alan as well. If Alan goes because it's a fallout, I can't be dealing with that. Luca Dean is trending on Twitter as well. I can see there. Probably because he's, again, not on the bench. And he's not injured. He's just not there. He's just not there. I think the state our squad's in, it's pretty obvious that he's not a rated man. By the manager. Otherwise, he'd have. He's ill, isn't he? He told Benitez he was ill, I do remember now. I do have the Chelsea lineup for you now as well. They've got Edouard Mendy in goal. They've got Rudiger, Silva, and Aspilicueta at the back, in the back three. They've got Alonso, Jorginho, Loftus-Cheek, and Reece James. You call him Hammers then. Mason Mount and Ziyech behind Pulisic. So no Lukaku, which is, good. Apparently he's got COVID. He's one of the COVID ones, according to FootMob now, and Hudson-Odoi is, as of today. They have got Kante, Barkley, Saul, Christiansen, Sarr, Chalobah, Kepa, and Bettinelli on the bench. It's also worth noting out here, FootMob have got us down as a 4-4-1-1, the Benitez formation. They reckon we're going to stick Holgate at right back, Godfrey at left back, Keane and Branthwaite in the middle, and then Jonjoe Kenny at right mid, Anthony Gordon at left mid, Gomez and Decore as the two centre mids, Iwobi behind the striker in Sims. I don't know if that's anywhere near right, and we won't know till the play-in. But yeah, I take that with a pinch of salt. But if Jonjoe Kenny's at right mid, that's gonna be tough. And that would make no sense. I can't see that, because you just put a Iwobi at right mid, and then you'd stick. I guess. I was going to say stick Gomez there, but he didn't have a good game there. You'd just go for a 4-3-3, wouldn't you? And stick Gomez and Decore as the two centre mids, Alan Shabamin as the CDM, Iwobi and Gordon out wide with Sims in the middle. He needs to sort of get over this idea of the 4-4-1-1. We've not got a number 10 at the club, and he's insisting on playing a formation with a number 10 needed. We don't have one. We don't have one. So why are you forcing it? It's not going to work. He's played everyone there. He's played Damari Gray there, Iwobi there. I think Anthony Gordon played there. I think Townsend's played there. Gomez has played there. I don't know how many more times the fella's gonna have to do this till he realizes. Don't play a formation with one of the key positions if you don't have any player that can do that. It's beyond me, really. It's madness. It's madness to try and play a number 10 when you've not got one at the club. I know Iwobi says it's his natural position or whatever, and it's where he prefers to play and all that. But I've not seen enough from him to back that sort of claim up. We had a couple of number 10s 2 years ago. We had about 10, and now we've got none. For obvious reasons of James Rodriguez has gone to the Saudi League, and yeah. So it's tough, but we'll have to wait and see. I can't see that Jonjoe Kenny being a right mid. That's the bit that really bothers me. I can't see that being true. Let me know what you think it is. Do you think it's 5 at the back, or do you think he has stuck Jonjoe Kenny at right mid? Kenny at right mid just looks mental. It looks absolutely mental. Stephen Thomas has put bye Rafa. I wouldn't be so sure, mate. I think he's safe regardless of this game. I think Leicester's saved him a bit that's been called off. Which, by the way, Everton have also put the tweet out now that is off, as of the Premier League decision. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But I think that game being cancelled has saved him, because if we'd lost, then maybe he gets sacked. But if that game doesn't happen, Fad Mashiri's going to be like, well, you don't know, Burnley's next. He should win Burnley. Maybe if we lose against Burnley, if Burnley stuff us, or get a 1-0 win, maybe then we can start thinking he'll get the sack. Once he's into the new year, he's got to be winning games, got to be beating Newcastle. We lose against the likes of Newcastle and Norwich, and he is done for, because, well, if we can't beat the teams down by the bottom, we'll be bloody joining them. There's no two ways about it. If you can't beat the teams down there, you're destined to be joining them. Wormy's put, well, basically how it works, you spend loads of buying players and pay their wages, and they are rubbish or permanently injured, then leave for nothing, and then you're going to end up in... Yeah, I could sort of guess that would be... don't know the rules for it, but I being an Everton fan, I don't know how financial fair play works. I just know how you end up in trouble with it, just from watching the club do it. And one of the key things to do is not to buy overpriced players that aren't very good. Stephen Thomas think the Premier League going to be postponed in the next few weeks. I think it's probably going to be postponed for a few weeks as a break. Jurgen Klopp will get his winter break. He's been banging on about for the last couple of months. Moz has put I like Chowdhury from Leicester, a defensive mid on loan, maybe. Yeah, he's a young lad. I don't think defensive mids are a massive issue for us as much. Well, no, they are, because Shabamin can't be. You can't trust Shabamin to be there all the time. So maybe in that aspect it is. I don't want us to get rid of Allen. I think that's really silly behaviour from us. But where we put amortization is where if you sign a player for 30 million on a 3-year contract, it goes on the books as 10 million per year rather than 30 million in all in one. So if you spend 40 million, how much you can spend depends on how the deals are structured. Oh, that makes them. Maybe that's why we keep spending silly amounts of money then, because of that. Maybe that's what Iwobi's being paid, or maybe we took us 3 years to pay Iwobi off, that transfer off. Stephen Thomas has put the lineup is laughable. We're done. Yeah, it's not filling me with confidence, and I'm surprised he's not playing Kante, Tuchel. Chelsea have had a falter though. Somebody said that before. Apologies because I forgot who said it, but their defensive record, and I watched them in the Champions League midweek, and one of the goals in that, I think it was Zenit they were playing. One of the goals was fantastic, but Chelsea are conceding. They're not this fortress that they looked like they were earlier on in the season. Will Lewis has put this is going to be the worst loss in the history of the Prem. I don't know, mate. Leeds did their best to try and do that the other night, didn't they? Sorry, it is Qatar. Sorry, my apologies. Got the wrong continent. Sorry, that was my bad. I thought he'd gone to the Saudi league. Wormy's put funny though. How are we 14th? Literally fish hooking players off the streets as you walk past Goodison. I'm telling you, mate, I don't know how we're 14th. I think that saves him as well. That everyone is well aware at the club how much of a state we're in, and Benitez is playing with he's playing with about 6-7 cards missing in a deck. I'm not excusing it. I still don't want him here, but that would be Farhad Mashiri and co's thinking is the fella's playing with half a deck, so it's a bit hard to judge. Stephen Thomas put imagine if we win the scenes. The scenes would be amazing, mate. If we won, that'd be fantastic, but I can't see it. Liam's put, listen, say what you want about Benitez, but anyone who thinks he wants to do well here needs their head testing. It's not that we don't think he wants to do well, mate. It's more he's not doing well. He was a silly appointment to begin with. From a football point of view, this was always going to happen. A couple of bad runs. He was never going to win fans on side ever, in my opinion. This was always going to happen. I don't know if he's doing it on purpose, no, but where he is and he isn't. I don't think he's doing it to make us look awful, but his stubbornness at times and his ego is going to cost him massively, and therefore that does fall the blame on him. If you're not going to change up how you set up, or you're going to play Solomon Rondon week in, week out, even though he's absolute rubbish, or you're going to take players' silly substitutions and then talk about running the ball and how the City, that is down to him. Don't get me wrong, he is playing with half a deck, like I said, but he doesn't completely, miss criticism. He's got a lot of things wrong as well. So that's my thought on it. I don't think he's doing it on purpose, but he's not a very good manager. I don't think he's a very good manager. I didn't want him at the start of the season because I didn't think he was a good manager then. He's just gone to prove me right. And the fact that he's a former Liverpool manager means that he will already have to struggle to win the fan base over. I just think this was predictable. I thought this was predictable, and a couple of other people said it. He was always going to be a bad run away from fans venting for him. It's just, it's really short-sightedness by the club. Wormy's honestly just put a skewer through the players and let Benitez spin them like foosball. You'll probably get some more movement out of some of them doing that than you will in some of it. Faz has put 20 games left after Xmas. We'll have to win 7. The games after Christmas get really easy. They do get a lot easier. I expect a couple of wins. Liam has put, did anyone expect these mercenaries to play for the badge this year? I didn't. I agree, and I agree with certain bits. There are players in this squad that I don't think deserve to be in this squad or play for Everton. There are players that I do have that feeling towards, but Carlo Ancelotti got a tune out of them, and we did really well under him last season. I know you're going to say that's Carlo Ancelotti and that will inspire anybody to play better, and it did, and it will. But tactically as well, he knew how to set up. It wasn't always pretty. It was very pragmatic. But there's a reason Carlo Ancelotti has won what he's won, and that's because he works well with what he's got. Sometimes he wanted to play a 4-4-2. Most of the time he wanted to play a 3 at the back, 5 at the back thing. I don't think he plays that formation with Real Madrid at the minute. But he did it at Everton because he's pragmatical. He will change his system to suit what he's working with. He doesn't just have a system, plonk all the players in and go, no, you need to play like this because this is my way, which is what I feel like is happening with us at the minute. It's just, I think we're trying to play away and play a formation we just don't have the facilities for. You know what I mean? I wouldn't go and try and hammer a nail with a screwdriver. I'd go get a hammer. That's my thought on it, but again, all opinions. JT's put Toffee TV hosts were laughing themselves silly earlier in their live thing as a starting 11, full wristers settings. And yeah, I mean the formation. I will say this. I don't want to. It was always going to be a bit of a tough formation because of the injuries we have. I don't get what goes on at training, but all our players seem to be dropping like flies. And we always have this issue. We had this last season, didn't we? I think Decore and Allen both individually were out for quite long bits. Normally it's 1 or 2 though, and they are out for quite a while, which is annoying, but it's normally 1 or 2. But we're missing at least, half of our best players. Digne is one of our best players, and that's a different story. Although he is ill today, supposedly. But, Richarlison's a very key player. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's a key player for us. Yerry Mina's a key player for us. The injury list at Everton is beyond mad. JT put Leeds got spanked by City. It was a paddling. Yeah, it's literally like I just said then about tools and that. Like I respect that he has his methods. But the way Leeds played, they were always going to be far too expansive football for Man City. He wasn't gonna sit back and sort of try and grind out a result against City. He was going to play the way that he wants them to play, and that's what happens when you play that way. You get absolutely annihilated. And yeah, we've heard about the Leicester stuff, mate. It's pretty tough. It's a pretty tough situation. But it will save him. I think it will save him for now. Erwin's put Lambs to the slaughter. Yeah, it feels like that. There's a couple of lads that I'm going to feel quite sorry for if we get absolutely hammered, including Ellis Sims in his debut. It's going to be tough. Wormy's put it was silly when you're going to give him this squad. Yeah, exactly. I think that's part of it as well, mate. I think they've set him up a little bit because they must have known the state of the club once Ancelotti. I bet Ancelotti knew. I bet that's one of the reasons as well. I bet he thought, no money, this squad needs major improvement and investment. I'm not going to sit around and do this next season. So he probably did. And I do agree with you with that. Like, it was a bit silly giving him the squad, but it was always going to end in tears. Always going to end this way. I didn't think it'd end this badly. I thought we'd get a couple more wins than we have done, but it was always going to end. Yikes. Scotty's point is that we have to get back to our roots, develop young players, create loyalty, and stop overspending. I wish we did more with our youth development, because we sort of had this we're really good at making youth, and our academies just fell off the face of the earth. There's not many players now that come through that end up being staples in our squad. Probably Tom Davis is the one that comes to mind now. Because he plays, played for the last couple of years. Anthony Gordon now, obviously, but that's took him a couple of years to get here. John Joe Kenny is only playing because we're in an injury crisis. Ellis Sims and Dobbin, again, are only playing because we're in an injury crisis. It's not that they're ready. It's that we've got no one else ready for it. Livervid has put, I think rightly or wrongly, Rafa's lost the dressing room. It's sad. I think there is a sad inevitability about it. I hope I'm wrong. I think that's the other thing with Benitez. I think he's never had the fans, but I think he's losing players. and that's going to be a really tough one. Wormy's put we finished 12th, but it was the squad and it was somehow worse. No, like, to be fair, that all due respect, Benitez won't get the same point tally as Ancelotti did. We had a really good start under Ancelotti as well, and it was really high flying this time last year. And now look at us now. I don't see us picking up 50. I don't see us picking up 50 odd points this season. I get what you're saying in the fact that we did drop off. We dropped completely off, and that was tough. But like, let's be real, Ancelotti is a lot better than Benitez. That sort of thingy. Like I said, the football wasn't always brilliant. It was very, there was some defeats, Sheffield United, and sort of stuff that would, should be beaten them, especially with him as the manager. But I don't think we'll be getting the same point tally we got last year. This squad's just too naff. And I don't think the manager knows how to get a tune. So I don't think it's going to work. Scott Fleming's put about the formations. Yeah, that's what I mean. Not all of them were good, but there were bits where it was, and there were bits where it wasn't pretty, but we were getting points. You got to remember this squad this year is probably a little bit better actually, because we've got Damari Gray. Like, we didn't really lose anyone, and we've brought people in, so this squad's pretty much, if not slightly better than what Ancelotti was working with, and we're not going to get the same points this season. JT's put notes to Finch Farm trainers, and I said this to on another channel. What we say the players could do a kick up the backside, it was meant for. Like, I know a lot of us say, I'd love to, give the players a good booting up the backside, but like, not actually, don't take that seriously and actually start wellying them, because I'd love to know why the injuries. I'd love for him to come out and say, we sacked the head of, the head of medicine and stuff at the club. I brought in my own guy. I'd love him to go, and we're having issues still because of. Otherwise, we're sort of stuck in a position where I'm constantly wondering what he's doing. Liverpool's put morally, I'd sack the players, but sadly the board that's not how it works. Yeah, don't get me wrong. There are players there that have been there far too long and seen off far too many people, manager-wise, that shouldn't be in our squad anymore. And there's just players whose time at the club have come to an end. Seamus Coleman, as good as he's been for us, his time at the club has probably come to an end. And he's playing because of the situation of we've got no right back. He has to play week in, week out, and the longer he plays there, the more he's getting torn apart, and the sadder it's getting. But there are some that should have never been involved with Everton, and there are some that have been fantastic for us, but unfortunately their time at the club's probably come to an end realistically. Jason Roscoe's put, with players available and lack of quality throughout the squad, what is Benitez supposed to back the manager? I've said he's playing with a half deck, mate, but he just it's not for me. Me and Benitez. I think he sets up wrong personally, and I think he talks in his interviews a lot of rubbish. I don't want to hear that he knows the city. I want a manager who knows how to win, not who knows what bus goes to what place. I'm not. It's the stuff he's coming out with, and it's more importantly, it's the fact he's upsetting people, and he has a history of upsetting people at every club he's been to. He's been known to sort of knock the best players out the club, and he's just got a horrible reputation for causing absolute mayhem. And we're entertaining it to the extent that we've already seen a bunch of people leave the club, and we'll see a lot more do it under his reign. His performances, his results aren't good enough for the amount of disruption he causes. They're just not. Wormies, but at least if we sat Rafa, we'll be consistent at something. Yeah, consistently changing managers on a 18-month basis, although not even that for this. This is like a 3-month, 4-month basis. UK genetics are put. I don't think any manager could make it work any better currently. That is the one. Also, the other thing that I think saves him is the fact that there's not much out there at the minute. Me and Cal ran down the list. Me and Alex ran down the list on here doing the live streams. There's not a lot out there that are unemployed. There's not a lot of good unemployed managers. And the ones that are at clubs, so like the Potters of the world, aren't going to come. They're not going to come to us just because I think he's onto, despite what their fans mean. I think he's onto a good thing tonight. At Brighton. So I don't think he will. That is an interesting one from Anthony McGinty. No Damari Gray today, which is also a massive loss for us. Damari Gray, I don't know if that's an injury, but not having Damari Gray in this side is really, really tough. I had to take a second look then to believe that. Yeah, I'm not too sure why Gray's not included. Not included, but that's a big loss for us because he's been our most consistent player this season. I will give the manager his credit where it's due. Damari Gray has been a fantastic signing, especially for the money we spent on him. That is a fantastic signing, and I will give him his due when he gets it right. He got that right. That is very impressive signing. But in the same breath, he's going to end up buying Longstaff in the summer. So, Scott Fleming's put missing Richarlison for so long killed us. He was lights out after internationals. Yeah, when he came back, I always thought he might be a little bit tired. He might be a bit knackered because that's a lot of football for him. It's proven right. And him and Dominic Calvert-Lewin being out for this long has absolutely killed us off. Because we even, it doesn't matter who the manager is here. We did it the same under Ancelotti last season. We are built as a team to play long balls up to Calvert-Lewin. That's what we're used to doing. We did it under Ancelotti, and when he goes, and this is what I mean about the same Ancelotti did last year. When he switches someone else in, we play the same way. I don't know if it's just automatically ingrained in the players now, but we've played the same way of boot the ball up, and it doesn't work because we've not got him there. He's so important in not just in the goals he scores, but our whole style and our build-up play. It's mental. It's only once he's out the squad that you go, oh, we really don't have a clue what to do with the ball once he's not there. And I think this season proves it. I think we could get away with Richarlison not playing if we had Dominic Calvert-Lewin, because we've got other wingers at the club, and we've got other players that can play off him. But Dominic Calvert-Lewin is really, it's been a really big miss. He's another one that's linked with a move away as well. Arsenal apparently sniffing after him, and they really do need a striker. And Aubameyang, I think, is on his way out. I've got a mate who's an Arsenal fan, and I said today, I was like, nailed on that Arsenal come to Everton with a swap deal, including Aubameyang and Fad Majiri. Looks at it with big eyes and thinks, I might take that. You've heard it here first. Aubameyang switch. It'll be a player exchange. Don't want it, but it seems so nailed on. When you just say, when someone says something, you go, that makes so much sense for all the wrong reasons, but it just makes so much sense, doesn't it? Wormy's put Rafa started too well. We're playing decent, but then the injuries were inevitable. We didn't see it coming except the board. Don't get wrong. The first couple of games were great, but this was always going to happen. This was always going to happen. I just think if you're gonna, it's just so unfortunate that he was always going to be on an uphill battle. If he was anyone else, but I still think if it was anyone else, 2 wins in 2 months, fans would still be fuming about it. And as much as we're saying injuries now, he has got stuff wrong tactically as well. It's not just an injury thing. He tactically has got stuff wrong this season. Where he's put no manager in their right mind comes to us. That's the other worry as well. It's, who comes to us. Erwin says that Gray travelled. I don't know why he's not playing. If he's got an injury, then that's another one to add to this ever-growing injury list. It's if he's injured, then it's just I don't even know how to describe it. Then I thank God that Leicester's been postponed if he's injured, because it's getting tougher and tougher. Liverpool's put personally, I think he's talking rubbish about players making the effort, but he's obviously desperate to win them back. Possibly, yeah. I think he is trying to win them back. But I mean, I think it's too late for him now. I think he's lost the locker room. JT's put Gray, yeah, nah. He's not that type of guy. But yeah, Gray's in a tough spot, and if he's out, then what do we do? Where do our goals come from? Because he's been one of our only scorers. So you take him out the squad as well. It's just tough. It's tough. Inky's put apparently he's ill. Probably got the same illness as Luca Digne then. Wormy's put Longstaff's okay for less than 10 million. He's like a rubbish decore. But I don't want rubbish players. Like that's what I mean. That's why I don't want him. I don't want rubbish players that when Benitez inevitably goes, because he's not going to be our manager forever. Managers are going to come in and go, what the hell do I do with Longstaff? I don't want him. I don't want rubbish versions of what we've got. It's, bar about 5-6 players, we've not got a great load of talent. I don't want rubbisher versions of them. Inky's put DCL, washed up bag of obnoxious who sounds a bit like a boomerang. I'm going to assume you mean Rondon. We've just put there tonight, keep your eye out for the Benitez out banner being held in the away end. Again, that was always going to... I'm surprised it's took us this long. Two wins in 2 months before the banner came out. I personally think it's a fair comment. That type of form is really scary. I think it's really, really scary type of levels of form. Faz has put DCL and Richie had no summer break. Richie played 2 tournaments. DCL had 5 minutes for England. Mina played more for Colombia. This has to stop. Yeah, I think that's the other issue, isn't it? Like, obviously, Dominic Calvert-Lewin didn't get many times for a game time for England, but he still would have trained with the squad. And he wouldn't have had a summer off to recuperate. Richarlison, as much as I get his passion for football and his love for his country, the man's a maniac. He's played far too much football. And Mina's always had injury problems, so reducing Mina's game time to the bare minimum is probably the smartest move there. I think we did it with Richarlison to keep him sweet. I don't think we wanted him to leave. I think he inevitably is going to go this summer anyway. PSG will come back, especially if Mbappe does go to Madrid. Although apparently they're after Vinicius Jr. now, but I can't see Madrid getting rid of him. I can't see that happening. Wormy's put Rafa's made mistakes. I think the job's near impossible. Yeah, I agree with that. The job is I wouldn't want the job. I wouldn't want the Everton job. Not by a country mile. I definitely don't want that job. It's a tough job for anyone. Semi-Chard, nice to see you, mate. You put spot on the need to improve our quality, not take more mediocrity. Exactly. That's why I'm so against Longstaff. I don't want another Rondon. I don't want another, mediocre player that it's just not very good. You know what I mean? I want a bit of ambition. I want a bit of, realistically, what type of club sign Longstaff ambition-wise? No top 4 does, and we're miles off that. But signing players like that don't help your ambitions towards that. No top 7 club signs him. None of the top 10, I think, touch him. And again, I know that's, but we should be at least the top 10. And I don't think other top 10 clubs touch him. So why are we entertaining the idea of it if none of the other top 10 do? I don't think West Ham look at him. I don't think they look at him. I don't think Wolves would take him. I don't think Brighton would take him. Yeah, there's a number of teams in that top 10 that I don't think would touch him. So it's sort of, why should we touch him then? Unless we're happy to be, below the top 10. Wormy's put at this stage, I'd take a rubbish decore over a Goshabank. That is the other problem, though. The other problem is the only other centre mid at our club that sort of, well, I don't know what, it's hard to judge what Shabamin actually is as a midfielder because he doesn't play. He's meant to be a defensive-minded one, isn't he? But he's unlucky, I blame him. His injury curse is now ripped right through the squad. The fella's cursed, and now he's passed it to the whole team. But yeah, he's players are dropping left, right, and centre. Shabamina, I feel quite sorry for him because he's going to go down as such a waste of a signing because he's been injured for half of his contract. The other half, he's going to be playing catch up fitness wise for a while, and we're not playing him, so his fitness will never really catch in. He needs a full pre-season of fully fit pre-season. He's going to take Shabamin is just he's going to go down as a silly signing, but for all the wrong reasons because he's unlucky and got injured. Inky's put, can I get the Everton job? I'd get enough for it. Mate, you couldn't pay me. You could not pay me. Also, if we're linked with Isaac Hayden, then I fully support the banner tonight. Isaac Hayden's not somebody that should be at our club either. That is relegation type player to be signing. Wormy's put, we haven't got the coffers for ambition. No, that's what annoys me though, mate. Because when we were bought, we were sold on the dream of a project. We were sold on the dream of the new stadium and European football, and all of the 500 million's been invested into just transfers. We were sold a lot of stuff, and now I think as a fan base, we are all starting to get a bit agitated because we were sold a dream. Before Farhad, all we'd ever wished for is that we were a club with a bit more money. We didn't have to sell our best prospects. We didn't have to go, and find gems from, really obscure leagues like the Irish League, for example. We just wanted a bit of money, and now we've got it. 500 million, a new stadium, but the football is gone worse. Has got worse. And I think that's what agitates the fans and why we're in a weird place as a fan base of anger at the mediocrity of the current state, sort of thing. Gaz has put, how you doing, Connor? I'm not too bad, mate. I hope you're doing well as well. Just, getting ready for the game in 10 minutes. It should be, I'm going to use this game as just a good time to look at, some of the lads that we don't get to see play very often. Keeping my eyes on Sim. I'll be keeping my eyes on John Joe Kenny and Bramthwaite just to see what they're like. You never know. John Joe Kenny might surprise us and play really, really well. I don't think he will, but I hope he does. But we'll have to wait and see, won't we? But that's what I'll be using today for, because it's going to be a really tough game. So I'll be looking at just what the players do. Semi-Char but didn't know Rondon was out. We're well and truly done for now. Yeah. And after he got his goal as well, that's unlucky. Inky's put Mykolenko would be a good signing. Yeah, we talked a little bit about him. I don't watch much Ukrainian football, so I don't watch a lot of him. But he's highly rated on Football Manager, which is somewhat. David Moyes used to believe, trust it back in the day. The research that goes into it is somewhat good. They don't always get it right, but I think they're a fair one. And for 20 million as well, which I think's in this market, 20 million for a 22-year-old left back, if he is any good, is quite reasonable. It's not. I'm not going to call it cheap because it's not cheap, but it's a reasonable price for a promising left back that's good defensively and can go forward. I don't think 20 million is bad. And then, I really don't think that's that bad. Inky's put, essentially, we've been scammed. Yeah, I think that's the problem, isn't it, mate? It's the dream that was sold. And no, it's not. We've not had the dream. A couple of us are saying it. Wormy's put, we've had the smoke blown up us. Semi-Charged put, I think John Joe might have a performance in him. I hope so. Yeah, I really do hope so. I think I'll be interested to see it because obviously he's had bad games, but he doesn't play an awful lot for us. So I'll be interested to see him, what sort of performance he puts in. Inky's put, if there's a penalty, he should take him because he can Panenka it. Like in Florida Cup, I would quite rate that. It's a smirk he did afterwards. It's mad. Wormy's put, it's totally unfair. None of these players have had game time, and they're starting to. Yeah, it is lambs to a slaughter, mate. And I did say this before. I feel really sorry for some of the lads. If you've not played any football this season, you get that chance. You think, oh, this is fantastic. I'll get my chance in the Premier League, and it just so happens to be against European champions. That's really unlucky. From their point of view, it's going to be a really tough game for them. Inky's put Mykolenko, I'm gonna have to learn how to pronounce that properly, is a bit like Godfrey, fast, young, agile, and brutal. I'm going to assume he's got a left foot, unlike Godfrey as well. But that's a promising description, Inky. Thank you for that, mate. Wormy's put Semi. I like your optimism, but I promise you he doesn't. You never know, mate. You never know. Semi's also put we may as well have been swerved. We have serious, but we also have bad luck. Yeah, we do. We have really bad luck, bad decisions as well, but bad luck as well. I think some of the stuff coming out now. Inky said that Digne wants Tuchel wants Digne. See, bad decisions as well because like I remember Tuchel being linked with us for quite a while, but Wormy's put Mykolenko. Is that how we pronounce it? Mykolenko. That's not too bad. That'll be easy enough. Mykolenko. Right, I've got it now. Now I've got it. That'll be fine. Inky's put he's dual-footed. Can really hit as well. Specialist free kick taker and Ukrainian international. That wouldn't be bad. Because obviously Luka Dean takes off free kicks now. If he was to go, basically we've got similar in terms of the free kick taker. Because if he goes, we've got no free kick takers at the club. If he's dual-footed, that's interesting. That makes him versatile for the right back spot when needs be as well. Although we've only got one left back at the club, so I don't think we've got the facilities to be doing that. But guys, don't forget, it's the last 5 minutes before kickoff or 4 now. Give me your score predictions in the chat. Don't forget to like the stream as well. I really appreciate it if you could do that as well. Isaac Bolton's put any more news on games getting cancelled? And just the Leicester one I know of, mate, but I've been on this, so I don't. I think it's just the Leicester one today, and obviously us and Leicester on Sunday. I think they're the two. I think there's been I think they're the two, and I think there's a couple more. But in terms of us, it's just the Leicester game that's been postponed. I imagine more will follow. More games will follow though. Coming up to Christmas, I can see a couple more Premier League games getting postponed. JT's put, considering the unmaking we're about to receive today, we might as well enjoy the show. Yeah. Take it as a chance to look at some players. Simon Jones put, you never know. Come on, Everton. Yeah, just enjoy it. Enjoy looking and watching players that we probably won't see much. Inky's put, Southampton get relegated. I reckon we should try and get Ward-Prowse. Yeah, I like Ward-Prowse. Really like James Ward-Prowse. He's a really good set piece special. If we could keep Dominic Calvert-Lewin, those two. I don't know how he didn't get more games for Southgate in that England squad. The pair of them, those two as a combination is freaky good. James Ward-Prowse can hit any head from a set piece, but Dominic Calvert-Lewin makes it that easy. It's amazing. Semi Charles put, I'm a bit more optimistic. Lol, that's the spirit, mate. I'm glad to see the optimism spreading now. Inky's put, Leicester's postponed. There's a good chance to get the ones in the hospital bay out of there. Yeah, that's the other thing. It just brings that added time for players to recover. I'd hope Seamus Coleman's back by then, because apparently that's muscle tissue damage, although it said bone as well. Townsend's seen a specialist over his foot because I think his is fractured, so I don't see him. Where he's put Anthony from Ajax, I would love that to happen, but I don't think Anthony comes to us. Not now. Well, it depends where we finish, obviously, but and who comes in for him, because he's a very highly rated winger. So I think it'll be tough. Simon's put, come on, we are Everton, go the Blues. I think that is where we're going to end it now, though, just because it gives us 2 minutes to go down and get ready. I'm going to go down and watch it. For you guys to get ready, though, and watch it. All the best. Hopefully we win. Don't forget, like I said, like the video, subscribe, and comment down below if you're on the YouTube watching it. I sound like such a dad then on the YouTubes. If you're on YouTube, comment on the video as well. Much appreciated for all of you joining me today and speaking. It's been an absolute pleasure. And fingers crossed we get a result. Stay safe, guys.